Good afternoon, all. I'm Elizabeth Beelman, and welcome back to Unearthing Shadows Light. I have taken a bit of a hiatus, mainly because I was told to. My people had come in, my spirit team, and suggested I might want to take this very lewd and very chaotic and very intense retrograde, mainly because anything that is said or stated during any retrogrades, especially Mercury, gets a little skewed. So, and I can only imagine what everyone else has been dealing with because I've been going through the thick of it. I think in my last video I touched upon just maybe a prelude of what you might experience during a retrograde. Now that I've gotten my bearings around this energy and that Mercury is now finally direct as of yesterday on October 2nd, I can come and speak upon this. There were 6 planets in retrograde. 6 of them. What I have been dealing with over here, and so I can only imagine if I'm dealing with certain things. We're all mirrors for one another, right? So my themes, and normally the pre-shadow period in Mercury retrograde will show you exactly what you'll be dealing with in the retrograde itself. Mercury retrograde started on September 9th, 2022 and ended on October 2nd, 2022. You have a pre-shadow period 2 weeks before Mercury actually goes retrograde, and then you have a post-shadow period where it goes, it kind of wraps up the energy. So we're in that until, I don't know, maybe the 16th, 17th of October. For those of you that don't know, like, Mercury retrograde stands for and can have misunderstandings, technical mishaps, problems with communication, and like your energy's zapped, and if your energy is not so much zapped, you're dealing with chaotic energy. I have dealt with this retrograde having my intentions and my communication skewed, and that's to no one's fault. It's mainly just where people are at the moment. So you can only hear and meet people as deep as you've met yourself. And if you are in the thick of anger or resentment or any of the lower vibe energies, you're going to be dealing with that kind of being skewed in and out. So that anxious feeling, everything had to do with all of these planets out of whack. Not only communication for me, but death and resurrection on a multitude of levels, whether it's people passing away, it's people, dying, coming back to life. I like to, and that can even mean symbolically people that have past situations that you thought were like dead and gone and buried, like to come back and haunt us during a Mercury retrograde. But it's only haunting if you aren't seeing the value of the lesson being put forth. Many times it's there as a lesson to show you. Also, too, with the death and the resurrection and the rebirth, I'm talking Phoenix energy, burning up and then getting turned to ash and then rising from the ashes. But please keep in mind that burning part, when you're burning up, for that you must be brave, because it can be a doozy. Let's see, besides Mercury being in retrograde, we are dealing with, and have dealt with, Jupiter in retrograde, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of the dates that each planet is in and out of retrograde and what they kind of stand for. So Jupiter started retrograde on July 28th, 2022, and will end retrograde on November 23rd, 2022. Jupiter is deep introspection, spiritual growth and development, inner truth, and in course correction. So we are dealing with realizing what no longer serves you in life, whether it be dangerous, whether it be toxic, whether it just is a drain, suck on your energy, and an emotional vampire. We are dealing with that. We are also dealing with Saturn in retrograde, and this one's a big one. This one went into retrograde on June 4th and comes out the 23rd of October. Saturn stands for karma. You are dealing with structure, discipline, authority. Normally, like the first Saturn return, which is the exact placement of Saturn when you were born, when it returns in your life, because it normally does a return every like 26 to 28 years, 29 years. And so they say that when Saturn in your chart returns itself, that's when it marks like your adulthood. But it's hefty energy, it's sobering energy, it wakes you up to lessons learned, discipline, maturity. It is called the teacher of the zodiac. So if you're dealing with past lessons that are making their way up and out, that is why. Uranus, yes, the fifth grader in me will laugh at that. Uranus, it went into retrograde starting on August 24th, and it leaves on January 22nd, 2023. So, Uranus stands for sudden breakthroughs, shocking revelations. I wrote them all down so I could kind of keep track, so bear with me. Shocking revelations and events, reflection on change and what changes need to be made moving forward. Waking up to a new reality, kind of like an alarm clock, that beep, beep, beep in your ear. You're gonna wake up to new people, places, and things if your current reality from before was not serving you. It helps you release anything that is not authentic or supportive. So if you're finding big endings coming in, and will continue to come in till the end of January of 2023. All planets have shadow energies, so you're looking at the pre-shadow again 2 weeks prior to when it starts, and then the post-shadow normally goes 2 weeks after. So in that shadow period, you're dealing with things like wrapping itself up. And then we have Neptune, went in on June 28th, 2022, and gets out of retrograde on December 3rd, 2022. It's a planet of spirituality, imagination, your dream worlds, your astral realms, and all things make-believe. Help gain deeper understanding of the illusions that rule over your life. Time to own your truth and embrace your clarity. So if anything isn't serving, or if things are, if you're telling lies to yourself, Neptune will make sure it pulls the truth out. I find that Neptune is the softer side of Seers. When it comes to the planets, it's a little softer, but it's still very, very, very present. You will get a lot of like truth moments, like those light bulb moments, like, oh, okay, like here we are. And a deeper understanding. It says, in all things make believe, and I just think that that's kind of beautiful, because we need to have more make believe. All that gets bred out of us as we grow from like your childhood, and I find that being more of an in your inner child will help you move through your life. Your inner child probably holds the most trauma or hurt that you've had in your life. So visiting with your inner child and figuring out what it means to step into that playfulness, that authenticness, where you didn't care about being judged, that you could make believe that you were jumping across from couch to couch because the floor was lava. I still play the lava game with my girls. Sometimes it's really fun. Getting back into that make-believe mentality can really bring you out of the doldrums and it's worth it. So maybe give it a try. And the last planet the sixth planet that I'm going to touch upon is Pluto. Pluto went into retrograde on April 29th, 2022. And excuse my dog's barking in the background. And it will be leaving retrograde on October 8th, 2022. So, Pluto, as my friend Angela says, Pluto is the planet of fuck around and find out. So if you are being told that something's not good, not okay for your person, places, or things, and you're going to go against the grain anyway, against what's being told to you, Pluto's going to serve you a hefty dose of reality. It is the planet of transformation and destruction. It's pretty much the Tower planet. And by what I mean by that is the Tower card in the tarot is technically the worst the worst card that you can get in the deck. It's one of my favorite cards. And I say that because when the tower burns down and falls and the foundation is gone, it leaves you room to rebuild. So, yes, Pluto is the planet of fuck around and find out. Pluto is that tower energy that comes in and clears away all the things that all the other planets are even putting out there. What no longer serves you. It's going to come in and it's going to release it all. A majority of these planets are being out of retrograde in October. So October is a gigantic reset. This month is a big reset. Just please be easy. Please be easy on yourself and others. It has not been a kind retrograde. For those of you who have dealt with more of a kinder retrograde, awesome for you. Those lessons are probably very deep-seated and deep-rooted, and it's beautiful that you're able to unfold them in an easier way. For the others, including myself, that has dealt with the shitstorm, my beloveds, it's pretty much resetting itself in October, so try and breathe easy and know that this fuckery is coming to an end. I'm going to do a really quick reading for the collective. Let's see what we're dealing with. I'm going to be using the Caroline Lease archetype cards because they are my favorite cards to use for collective. They show you the shadow attributes and the light attributes of each card. Okay, so excuse me while I just call my people in. I work pretty closely with the angels and a lot of ascended masters and gods and goddesses and loved ones. It's kind of just like a cornucopia of majestic awesomeness. But I am pleased, guides and loved ones for the collective. I'm looking for at least 3 cards to give us an understanding. Alright, that one popped out. I'm not going to take all of those. The first one that popped out is student. So we're dealing with the light attributes are humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. The shadow attributes are arrogance and the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. So pretty much the shadow side is talking the talk, but not walking the walk. You can have all of the information that you want, but if you're going to take that to a darker place and just leave it where it is, like a know-it-all, you're going to get your ass handed to you. That's just kind of how that's going to go. Like when the student is ready, the teacher appears, and that goes in many facets. Let's see, I had 3 cards pop out. So, the Martyr. And I'm doing this on an iMac today, so I don't know if these are backwards as I'm showing you them, so my apologies if they are, but I will read them out loud. The Martyr, the light attribute is learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. And the shadow attribute is addiction to self-pity, so being in that victimization, that victim role. Playing the victim, not taking any responsibility for what is going on in life. If something bad happened to you, not being that, oh, poor me, but instead asking yourself, what can I learn from this? What has this shown me? Like it said, the light attributes are learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. So, it's taking what's being shown to you from the universe and using it to not only be of service to yourself but to others. Instead of playing the world's smallest violin that's playing just for you. You know, just not taking that problem. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, sorry. My Flash player just popped up on here and it made the video go down so I couldn't see what was going on. So, my apologies. Okay, so now the third card that came out is Father. So maybe some of you in the collective are dealing, before I even read the attributes, they are dealing with fatherly energy. I mean, it goes right along with student and possibly martyr when it comes to father energy in the shadow aspect or in the light attributes. The father aspect is a teacher to the student, or can also be a student to the teacher, depending on how you look at it. So the light attributes are talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So your family, your persons, your places, your things. Your shadow attributes are dictatorial, control, and abuse of authority. Just because you're a father of some sort or a masculine role, and that's, you know, that can go for females and males. I really don't like to put labels on things, but, you know, father in general is male energy. Not being that, staying in the I told you to do this, so you better get it done. It's more of, if there's a mistake or there's a situation, allowing your children, however that is for you in your life, to understand that you're here as a helping hand, that you're here to show and to teach, and to also learn from those teaching and being taught. And being that loving, kind, strong hand, because fathers can make you sit in your shit, and that disappointment aspect that comes in with the fatherly role or the parental role. There's a lot to be said for father energy, so that's interesting that came out. So maybe others in the collective are dealing with fatherly energy, maybe that control aspect. Maybe you're dealing with breaking away from that or trying to hone in on the good aspects of it in your life, however that serves you. The last card that popped out for the archetype cards is God. I like to think of God as a kind of an acronym in good, orderly direction. Follow the good order and direction, and it can't steer you wrong. So the light attributes are benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. The shadow attributes are despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. So that's really, really big in the collective right now. I feel like religions in general are being brought to the forefront, and this is my thought. that, and this is my truth. You can tell me to kind of kick rocks. It's just the way that I see things. I personally think one of the biggest downfalls of this society on this earth, on this plane, in this human existence is organized religion. And that's where like the power struggle has come in, between church and state, between church and school. I'm gonna pick an animal card to send us off, but with the organized religion, it's a little hard because people are trying to drive home their truth. In my reality and in my understanding, we are all God. It lives and thrives and loves within us. We are all God. And sometimes God can have a really shitty day. But no matter what it is, you get to choose to speak to God today. Whether that shows you a negative side or a positive side, it's still showing. So, ego stands, in my understanding, as easing God out. When your ego gets in the way, it really has a problem showing you where you need to go, because the ego is there telling you what you're good at, what you're not good at, how someone likes you, treats you, all these lies that it tells you. And don't get me wrong, it serves a purpose, but when you finally figure out what it does and how it comes in and that it can be silenced, it can be a beautiful thing. Oh, so we got two. We got three. So we have the eagle. Vision, freedom, authority, and inspiration. So that higher looking, that understanding of higher looking. Interesting too, because when I was in Vermont at the end of summer, I was about 10 feet from this gigantic bird. It was gigantic. It was, and people who know me in real life, I'm like 5 feet tall. I'm very short. I'm a very small person. And this, no joke, this bird was about 4 feet tall. And it had like weird markings on its chest, like almost glittered with little white and brown feathers. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like a gigantic crow or a hawk of some sort, but it turns out it was a baby bald eagle. And that was a gigantic, huge message for me. So the fact that this is coming up is really incredible. So it's just a reminder, like, right path, right time, right understanding, seeing things, freeing yourself from other people's negativity and other people's input and their judgment and what they're putting on things. It's you. You gotta turn it inward and focus back on you. Here we are. We're here. Wow. Okay, so the second card that comes out in the animal deck, also another story from Vermont. We were looking at crayfish in one of the little waterfall areas that we were swimming in, but it's crayfish. So interesting. Protection, perseverance, vulnerability, and regeneration. So crayfish, like if it loses a limb, it can regenerate itself. It has its claws for protection and to persevere, and yet it's still this tiny little wee creature and can be hurt or discarded from any predators out and around. So it's being able to persevere through the muck, that nitty-gritty dirt and sand kind of perseverance. And the third card that I have is the orange blossom jellyfish. Transparency, sensitivity, surrender, and illumination. So, also too, jellyfish being that transparent, being able to see through. The sensitivity of it, they are sensitive creatures. I mean, they're just kind of wafting and floating in the ether of the ocean. And being able to surrender to the light and understanding of many facets in life. So, you know, leaving here and leaving you guys with the end of it is, you know, the higher perspective and persevering and the surrender and illumination to what you're bringing into your life. These are, like I said, again, a reminder, October is a gigantic reset. So be kind, love yourselves, love others, and, you know, don't allow things to get the best of you. So I am going to play before to send you off. I'm gonna play my Amazon music. I wanted to kind of get a collective song, and you know, I tried to do it earlier, and I'm not gonna lie, Gangster's Paradise by Coolio came up, which I thought was interesting, and rest in peace, Coolio. But with everybody on screen with me, I'm just going to press the shuffle button and see what song we have for a collective. So it's Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival. And yep, that full moon energy is coming up, so I'm wondering what that's going to be all about. So to send you guys off, go look these lyrics up, listen to the song. I'm big with music. Be careful with the Bad Moon Rising. Stay in gratitude. And thank you all very much, and namaste.